Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dojo Live recap show. Usually we do this on Mondays, but today happens to be a Tuesday, right? No one was going to chime in yesterday, I'm sure. Hopefully you had a nice long holiday weekend. So here we are. My name is Kim Lantis. I'll be leading today's Dojo Live recap. Joining me are America Guerrero.
Hey, everybody.
You're back in Mexico City or are you in Cancun still?
Mérida, Yucatan.
Oh, neither. None of the above. Okay.
Exactly.
Harish Bavara. Hi, Harish.
Hi, Kim. How are
Joining
you?
us from the other side of the globe today. And, of course, Tulio Sergusa, Southern California. Hey, Tulio.
Hi, guys.
So last week you happened to have 4 shows that we're going to try to recap in under 10 minutes for you today. Of course, if you did miss any of them, feel free to check them out on our website, dojo.live. Doesn't get much easier than that. First up was Jason Fairchild, who's the CEO and co-founder of TV Scientific, where he talked about CTV, right? The next massive growth channel for performance advertisers. We also had Igor Weinberg, who is the CTO of Tipalti. Automating is a key to company success. And Tom Keeley, CEO of Source Day, where we talked about overcoming supply chain disruption with first mile technology and purchase orders. And last but not least were Michael McCarthy, CEO of Inkit, Sensitive Data Meets Document Streaming, right? A new technology for enterprise businesses. And Luke, who that's what we do here on Dojo Live, ad hoc and from the heart. And certainly the Inkit team delivered. Thank you. Cool. So what do you guys think of last week's shows?
All of them were great. We had 4. So my favorite one, I was the co-host in that show that it was with Luke and with Michael, right? I think that the way that they explain the data risk and how companies must be ahead of processes, how they need to innovate, it's really cool the way they explain. And the culture of the company, I think that the way they communicate, it was so fun, the show with them. The way they interact, the way they share the experience, how do you say this, like that you take the ball, that
like a volley.
Exactly.
Like a back and
Yes,
forth.
exactly. I really enjoyed the show. I could identify that everything was cool. I saw the ownership, the initiative that they want to encourage to their employees, with the way that they explain everything. Am I making sense?
Yeah. And for the audience, that's Luke Hofstadt. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, Luke. I know we went over that a couple times and it's a challenging one, but he happens to be the president of marketing. So he was there hanging out in backstage and Michael said, Luke, join me. And Luke said, okay. Cool. Yeah. And what they do too, just with this idea of document streaming, where a document is actually compiled, the format is created in real time, only when it's necessary. So there's none of the sensitive information, none of these documents are just hanging out in this, virtual filing cabinet. It's instantaneous, it's more secure. And then when you're finished, it just dissipates into the internet verse. So it's pretty interesting what they're doing. Cool. Yeah, sure. Anyone else? What do you want to talk to? Tulio, that was your design thinking show with Jason Fairchild.
Yeah, that was good. I really enjoyed it. It's a testament of what happens when you really listen and pay attention to the markets and to what customers and people have to say about their needs. And we see a massive opportunity in the connected television marketplace for leveraging a lot of the advancements in the ad tech space to be able to provide similar ROI to television, which is a new frontier, massive channel for marketers, and how they've designed it with the marketers in mind and the advertisers in mind to make it simpler for them to reach audience, and also provide transparency to those television streaming services, so that they have better understanding of how the performance is happening. I really like the fact that they can connect now when someone has seen a spot, and then the action that they take afterwards, whether they go on to sign up for a service or order a product, which has been the promise of online advertising for the past 20 plus years. It's interesting that it's happening. So congratulations to them. And it's a testament of what happens when you don't just go out solving a problem with an idea or from a gut feeling, but when you take the time to diligently research, interview people, and understand what's really needed. So check it out if you missed it. Dojo.live.
Yeah, I think his quote was something that doesn't matter what we think about our product, it matters what our users think about our product.
Exactly.
The users aren't drinking the Kool-Aid, right? I guess. Perfect. Harish, did you get a chance to watch the shows? What was one of your favorites?
Yeah, the one I like the most is the Source Day. They are more into inventory control. The main concept is they're into much more about supply chain technology, and this company are mostly been focusing on latest shipments, inventory, and even carrying costs, pricing. Everything is being maintaining a streamline. That's where it'll give a overview, clear picture to a prospect or to a client who have been working on these kinds of software technologies. These have been much more benefit for any kind of logistics, transportations, or railways company. Those company, any shipment companies, any logistics, this be much more benefit for those companies. If anybody has been missed this kind of interview, I can say for any kind of logistics companies, this can be a much more informative information they can grab from this interview.
Right.
I can say this is one of the best, especially for coming down for any kind of logistics vertical.
Of course, with the supply chain and just the
supply
purchase
chain
order. What I enjoy about Source Day is they seem to be, first of all, I think they coined that term, first mile technology. And a lot of times what happens is the supply chain is going to inevitably get disrupted. I think that's, but the idea here is to disrupt it as less as possible. And a lot of the times manufacturers or people aren't made aware of that until it's much, much later in the game. And so what Source Day is making it possible for, purchase order transparency as early as possible. So I kind of see this as when it comes to supply chain disruption, rather than just taking the mop and try to clean up the mess, they're the ones who are going to go close the faucet, and so there's as little mess as possible. So I think that was really fun. And last up was Tipalti. Automating is key to company success and how to implement automation in finance. And that one was the one with a CTO, so we got to be a little bit more technical in that show.
Technical.
What were you guys' thoughts?
It was a little bit complex for me to understand, but I think that at the end he was so patient. I tried to learn, and it was so helpful for him to learn about for me to learn about the industry. He is the CTO. He has been programming professionally since a long time ago, so I think that it was so fruitful to learn from him.
Yeah, his own story is interesting, where he was able to take this path from, I think he was developer number 2 or something. And now, however many years later, he's actually the CTO, which is great. Their approach is really interesting. It's kind of unique. And that's a focus on the accounts payable, right? Which might be an afterthought for a lot of companies when we want to maybe think that accounts receivable and other elements of our financial process might be more important. But it was interesting how they're solving problems there and making it more efficient, making it much, much easier for people in that finance area, allowing for you to have much smaller, team of accountants and financial folks for your company. And I think what's cool about this one is, to me, we didn't talk about this much, but really protecting your brand, right? Loyalty and just helping you to be a company like with integrity, right? So that you get that important aspect of paying your bills on time made easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting today with influencers, for example, and digital creators. You have to pay these guys out consistently, or they stop producing content. So you've got the Googles, Facebooks, Instagram of the world that are relying on the product. The product is the content that these guys are creating. And so paying them on time is critical to it's mission critical. So it's, having the way to automate that is certainly going to save a lot of time and energy, but also serve the actual partners of companies that, and
sure.
a lot of mission critical application in construction, for example. You don't pay the vendors on time, you don't get the product, you don't get the build. So it's and
then we're talking about supply chain disruption.
Exactly. So and that's a big process for a lot of companies tied into their systems. So having anything that can automate those things that are just mundane tasks in most cases is key. And they've grown to be a pretty big company doing this. So there's obviously a need in the marketplace, and they continue to succeed at it. So congratulations.
Sure. So guys, we were successful in wrapping up our 4 shows in 10 minutes, a little over, not quite under. But on today's show, we actually want to take a few more minutes because there's a large announcement taking place. Drum roll. And that is, this happens to be Tulio Siragusa's final show with us here on Dojo Live.
Yes, it is. I am passing the baton today. I'm emotional about it, but I kind of am.
Who's chopping onions around here? So Tulio.
It's been an almost 5-year amazing adventure building out this brand and this platform with you guys. We've had 500 shows. 500 shows.
Yeah, that happened just last week.
That happened last week with Source Day. So it's amazing. A lot of CEOs and CTOs we've spoken to, learned so much. I always joke around saying, if you want to know what's happening in the industry, in the technology industry, you could read a Gartner report or you can watch Dojo Live, because you're going to get it right from the guys building the future right on the show. So it's been an interesting and amazing experience. But I'm moving on to some entrepreneurial desires that I wish to fulfill. I'll be announcing that next week. There'll be some press releases around what I'm doing next, and I'm really excited about it. I'll be back online on some new podcasts. I'll continue with my design thinking efforts. It's something I'm really passionate about with my blogs, as well as whatever show that metamorphosis into. So this won't be the last of me on LinkedIn Live, everywhere else, but I really have enjoyed this team and what we've done together and what we've accomplished in almost 5 years. And I'm very tickled by you guys honor me in this way, and passing the baton is what I like to say.
Oh, I love it. And maybe it's not your last time here in Dojo Live either. The recap show, we allow for guests, if you like a show that you saw and you want to participate, if you want to have your, what do we call this, Brady Bunch moment, Hollywood Squares, please join us on Dojo Live. And that, of course, applies to you also, Tulio. And yeah, once an Incorian, always an Incorian. Once a Dojo Livean, we don't have names yet. Once a Liver, always a Liver. And yes, we wish you, of course, the greatest success. I think here at Dojo Live, we get to witness entrepreneurs all the time, which is one of the things that makes our jobs very, very fun. And the entrepreneurial bug bit you, and you have to go for it. So we wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much.
You back as a guest in the future.
Yeah, please. Of course, you know how to access the guest form and fill out your landing page information. So yes, we wish you, of course, the best of luck, Tulio. Truly, thank you for the way that you've taught us and helped grow Dojo Live to what it has become today. That said, we're still going to be here every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 12 o'clock Pacific. You can join myself, America, and other co-hosts as we carry on that baton. Perfect. America, do you have what's coming up for this week?
Yes, I am ready. So for next week, we have David Burns, CEO of Morpheo. No, sorry, that is going to be today, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, sorry. So this is going to be today. And June 1st, we have Christopher Greco, President and CEO at StoreWise. He is going to be talking about how software helps local grocers make better decisions. And then on June 2nd, we have Matt Burns, Head of Corporate Affairs at, I don't know if I'm going to say it correctly, Schiffer Medicine. He's going to be talking about from startups to solving healthcare's biggest challenges. And that is it for today. Or am I missing another one? No, right?
You are not, but catch us back in just a few hours here, Dojo Live, 12 o'clock Pacific, as we talk to David Bunce, Morpheo, marketing tech. So don't miss it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tulio. Bye. Hi.